absolutely nothing. And if you ask the governor, rightfully so, he will say, but I was not consulted. I was just told, give a matching fund of 250 million. And we too, we cannot plead innocence because we participated in passing a division of revenue that ensured that each county contributed 250 million. The same, I think with the exception of Nairobi. The same can be said about these, what are these community health promoters? Surely, if the only thing they earn is a salary, why does somebody need to keep that money at Ministry of Health here at Afya House instead of sending all that money? And we can calculate. We know what is the stipend. Why surely? What is this obsession that we have in our country with holding on to resources that you don't need? Even people's salary. At least we know, even if you're looking for a kickback, Senator Eddy, there is no kickback in people's salary. At least send that one out. And therefore, good people, I want to ask of us that as we consider division of revenue, let us passionately fight and stand up for devolution. Because this is the last battalion of defense. If you let this country down, Mr. Speaker, there is no likelihood whatsoever that anybody will ever remember that there was need. We understand that there are challenges, Senator Mogeni. Devolution is not as popular as CDF. That is a fact. Nobody doesn't, it's not rocket science. And it's for obvious reasons. CDF is managed separately. And we must be able to learn, even us, and appreciate that what is it that has made CDF to be as popular as it is. Of course, is the fact that they don't utilize the level of human resource that we utilize in our counties. That is why 98% of that fund goes to actual budgetary programs, things that are tangible and people can see. You know, schools, and I don't know what, things that ordinary citizens would wish to identify with. But you know, when you're a county government and 50% of the 10 billion you receive is paying 3,000-4,000 people in a county of 1 million people, then people will say, wrap these things up, we don't want them. Therefore, part of defending devolution is to ensure that we make it work in the way that it was designed. And the way that it was designed is to make sure that people feel resources getting into their pockets. So I want to urge as colleagues, as we begin this conversation and the reawakening that we have, we must all stand together and appreciate that there will be challenges, that we may not achieve that which we set out to achieve immediately or at the time of first asking. But surely and certainly, Mr. Speaker, as a House, we must make a firm decision that is in the best interest of the country. You know, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I watched something, or I think it was 2 days ago, the former Budget and Appropriations Committee Chair of the National Assembly. I think he was addressing himself to quite a number of issues, and I began to appreciate that no wonder we have the challenges that we have. You know, there is something that the late President, Mr. Speaker, President Mwai Kibaki, used to speak about people being suddenly very clever. And I saw the gentleman trying to tell us, oh, you know, we should not borrow. Even the budget that we are using in this financial year, it is that gentleman actually who passed it on the floor of the National Assembly with a fiscal deficit of almost 5%. How is it that suddenly he has discovered that borrowing is bad? This House has been pushing and insisting. Read, Mr. Speaker, our BSP reports for the last 10 years. Senate has always maintained that don't have a fiscal deficit of above 3.3%, including the report that we passed here. As Senate, we have been quite clear on these things. Our colleagues who have been on the other side, on the National Assembly, cannot be the ones that are lecturing the country at this particular time and telling us, oh, you don't need to do this, we have borrowed this much. We have borrowed because, you know, you passed a budget that has a deficit of close to 1 trillion shillings. And there is no other way of meeting it, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, much as we want to have this conversation, it cannot be that because you are no longer wanted by your colleagues, Mr. Speaker, that you suddenly now want to talk down on everybody and tell us, oh, this and that is not right. I don't know, we are being told NSSF should not do this or the other. Mr. Speaker, you know, I found even that to be extremely ignorant. You know for a fact that here in Nairobi, just a kilometer from where we are gathering, NSSF of Tanzania are putting up an investment, I think, of close to 40 billion Kenya shillings because pension funds all over are looking for opportunities to invest. The problem with us as a country is that we think that it is a work of NFSSF to only build houses and sell to citizens. Therefore, no wonder our pension scheme has never grown. A small country, a country with a smaller economy like Uganda, has a bigger pension fund than ours because of innovativeness in their thoughts, Mr. Speaker. And I saw this gentleman telling us, oh, don't build roads, don't do this or the other. Do people know, for example, that this expressway is built by savings from other pensioners in China who today, when we use the expressway, earn from us? Then you are telling us that our own cannot invest when opportunities come? Spare us this kind of lectures, Mr. Speaker. You know, Mr. Speaker, we have to be bold in our decision making and ensure that we are honest and truthful to the country, even as we have conversations about what is it that we can do about our economy. The last thing, Mr. Speaker, even on the securitization of roads, and I want to challenge you members. If you go to the Ministry of Roads and Transport today, there is a gentleman who's the Minister for Roads, C.S. Davis Chirchir. On his dashboard, he is able to show you the investment that has been done by the 3 road agencies in this country. If that thing does not make you boil when you look at it, and I think I'll ask that document be tabled here in Parliament one day. You know, because I'm saying this because I saw the member of Kiharu, that former member of, chair of Budget and Finance Committee, saying that we should not securitize roads levy so that we build roads in other parts of the country. Yet he knows, last financial year alone, in his own constituency, he sent 14 billion Kenya shillings to one constituency. The whole of my own county, has hardly, you know, then somebody tells us, oh, don't securitize. You know, this loan conversation about repayments of loans, Mr. Speaker, one day we will have to be honest with each other. You know, when I tell my people of Kericho that the reason you can't have sufficient development is because you are repaying loans, they ask you, loans for what? Because they cannot see. One day we will just say, tabulate what is in your county and pay. So that we see. You know, Mr. Speaker, hypocrisy must end in this country. Part of the reason why I love the broad-based government is that we said we want to be honest and end the politics of hypocrisy and politics of blackmail, Mr. Speaker, such as what I saw that young man trying to pursue. You cannot put 14 billion in your constituency, then you come and tell the rest of us who are dealing with bad and poor roads that we cannot look for money to build roads for our own people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hope that I am still responding to comments made by my colleagues on division of revenue. But I just thought about it and I said, this country, sometimes you follow things and you wonder. We want equity. There is a point that I said that perhaps was lost. I said, and my colleagues, if it is not so difficult to establish, because now we are doing, in the new formula, the 4th generation formula, we are doing, there's an element called the gross county product. How much a county has been able to produce. What will you produce if you have not been enabled by the national government, Mr. Speaker? You can't produce if you have no roads, if your people are not healthy. There are counties that have 7 level 5 hospitals, while in most of the rural counties, like from where most of us come from, has only 1, and it is a level 5 by name only, or counties that do not have. Therefore, if people want us to measure the productivity of every county, let us also measure the investment of national government in those counties, Mr. Speaker, so that we are able to know that we have put 100 billion in County X, and therefore we expect a return factor of this much. If the investment by national government is 1 billion in my county, they should not expect anything, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is a moment that we have to be honest and sincere with each other. The reason division of revenue is important and why Senate cannot come down from 400, the request of 465, Mr. Speaker, is that at least we know what we divide in this House, Mr. Speaker, is equally and equitably shared across all our 47 county governments. That cannot be said of the budget that remains in the other House. And therefore, if it was even possible, Mr. Speaker, we would actually put most of our resources in this house so that we share equitably across the 47 county governments, and the other one which people want to play games with, the little part of it remains in the other house. Since that is not possible, let us at least begin with this 465, Mr. Speaker. The rest can come later. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Finally, Mr. Speaker, in accordance to Standing Order number 66(1), unless the whips, Senator Sifuna and Boni, can tell me that we can raise the numbers to pass this division of revenue, I don't think we have sufficient. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, in accordance to Standing Order 66(3), I want to request. they have already told me, Mr. Speaker, that it is not possible to raise 24 delegations on a Thursday afternoon. Therefore, I request that the putting of the question be deferred until a later date. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The putting of the question is deferred. Next order.